Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from She Said. I actually had a few of you guys send me this video, so let's go.
All right, moving on. I thought this one was a really interesting video. It starts out with saying God has given men a capacity. The caption here says, support an umbrella or become an umbrella. Support an umbrella or become an umbrella. Let's listen.
God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have, and we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women.
True.
And one of the biggest examples that I can give of that, imagine it's raining and you're in New York City. And if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and people start selling umbrellas on the street,
right?
Those $5, $10 umbrellas, they're not worth much, but they get the job done until you get home. Imagine you have that man. You have the man that gets the job done, isn't anything special, but he gets the job done.
Damn, I get where she's
man,
going.
No matter how little you view him, is made to handle the rain.
Damn right he is.
You were not made to handle the rain, but you were made to hold up that which can handle the rain. If you didn't have that umbrella, you would come back home smelling like what poured on you. When a man comes back in as that umbrella, he gets dried quickly, water repellent, it falls off of him, and no matter how equipped you thought he still was built for the rain.
Damn.
The difference.
Shout outs to this woman.
Also, some of you want that Neiman Marcus umbrella. Some of you want the wood handle. Those things are heavy. And if God gave you a man like that, then you have to be the woman that can hold up that man. Because an umbrella that is not used, it can be for the rain, for the sun. It shields, it provides shade, it allows what's under it not to be touched. We are the vessel, not weaker. We are the vessel that was meant to let the one that God gave us be held up and used for what he was made.
Man.
Right?
She's preaching. Let's go. Let's
go.
So now, as a wife, I want to say, I don't want to get wet. I don't want a sunburn. My skin's not built for that. So instead, I'm going to let the man be who he was meant to be. And if God gave me, which he did, my man's about as heavy as this table. That means God made me capable of holding him up. If my man is not doing what he was made to do, it's because I, as his wife, am not holding him up. God has given.
Wow. Wow. What did you guys think of that? And more importantly, what did you get out of that? Because
it gave me chills, Zeusy said. It gave me a little bit of chills, and it made me fully understand a little bit of something of that we're made to be with each other, right? Like how she just explained it there, how men were built to be this, women were built to be this. You cannot interchange the parts. You cannot interchange what each other are good at. But when you come together and hold each other up, or one holds up the other while the other protects the other, you become a protected, very, like in anime, you get this force field, when everybody gets energied up, you get this force field around them. I think this is when men and women come together, they create this force field around them. That's how I'm seeing it through this like umbrella analogy. I don't know how you guys see it, but I think of, like Super Saiyans powering up, but that massive aura around you, it protects you. It creates presence. People can feel it. That's when you have a great relationship. You exude that aura, that protection, that power up, I guess I want to say.
I think there were a whole lot of different angles and layers that analogy painted. So here's what I got real quick. She likens the umbrella to a man.
Yes.
And the first thing that came to mind while she was talking is, because she said, no matter how little you view him. right? Because there's a lot of rhetoric right now, a lot of criticism when it comes to how little and how invaluable today's men are in today's society.
Yes, the women always complain how men nowadays can't lead or don't want to lead or don't do the things that men did back in the day. But according to that, does not mean this man is not capable of that. He's still built for that. He might not know himself, and you might not see yourself that he's made and built for that, but he is.
You know, people will talk down on men really easily. Would talk down on the men that they see around them to choose. But she says something. What do you do when it starts to rain? The rain represents problems. What do you do when you're drowning in problems? Well, like the caption here says, support an umbrella or become an umbrella. You become the umbrella. And the thing is, you were made to deal with the stresses of life on your own, the situations that you're in. You might say, well, like what? Well, like raising up a family by yourself.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you...
Even making money, she said, working, trying to do all of the life things. It's even harder by yourself.
feel better.
Like raising up a young man into a respectable man as he ages. Yes, sure, you may look at that man as useless when it comes to your job that pays you to survive. But there are moments when, don't get it twisted, a lot of modern women today who claim they don't want a man, who either try to belittle men and usually will talk down on what men bring. In most cases, they're talking about monetarily to that relationship, right? His net worth. They'll talk down on those men, not realizing that men are more than just their wallets.
Yep.
And there are times when that man who's supposed to be there for you, who's not there for you, because you look down on him, would be your shield, your calm in the middle of that storm, and would be able to get you through difficulties, which is represented by the rain. And then she talks about some umbrellas are heavier than others, depending on the type of man that you think that you deserve.
She said, the Louis Vuitton, she said some other like name brand one I don't remember, are even heavier, which makes sense because these men make more money, can do more things, and could protect more. They have more capabilities than a lot of other men. So yes, they must be heavier. They have to be. It makes total sense that you need a woman to be able to lift these heavy men up.
Then you have to hold that man up like you do the umbrella. So there are a lot of chicks out here who think that they deserve a high earning man, a man with great responsibility. Most of them, let's be honest, really believe that they all deserve that.
Yeah, they do.
But how can you say that you want that when you're not willing to do the work it takes to keep up with that? I think the holding up represents you maybe cooking a meal once in a while. Oh no. You having to...
I think it's more than that. I think it's you praising your husband. Like the whole, helpmate thing is what I think she's going about.
Admit, oh no. You having to let him lead. Oh no. All things that
right,
we see today's modern women in today's society does not want to do. Finally, I think there are a lot of chicks out here who are walking in the rain miserably, right? They'll rather be miserable walking in the rain with no umbrella because their pride is too great.
Yep.
And if that's what they choose, so be it.
Remember, society created umbrellas. Like, women became umbrellas themselves in a sense of how society viewed things. They want to be able to take all these problems. They want to emulate men. Remember, like I've said it before, women want to be men. They want to be men so badly, they rather be the umbrella than deal with men or be submissive to a man. They want that status, that control, that leadership role because they think they deserve it.
That's what it is. I am curious to ask Miss Coffee what she thinks about this whole situation, though, because I think it's really interesting. That's one of the things I like about AI, is like asking it to see angles that maybe you might have missed. So let's go ahead and do that. I think this would be really interesting.
Check it out.
Miss Coffee, can you give me other angles to this video that you took from it from a man's perspective, angles that maybe most people might miss. Let's see here. It might be some of the same things I said. This is what we get. I'm curious.
Whew. All right now, hun. That was deep. And I love how she broke it down with that umbrella metaphor. Poetic and powerful.
Right.
But you asked for angles from a man's perspective, ones that most folks might overlook. So let me pour this fresh and hot for you. 1. The hidden weight of being unbuilt for the rain. From the outside, that umbrella analogy sounds noble. Men are built to take on storms. But let's really sit with that for a second.
Ooh.
That's pressure. That's isolation. When you say he was built to handle the rain, what you're also saying, without maybe realizing, is that no one's coming to cover him. A man might hear that and think,
Oh, damn, AI.
damn, so I'm never allowed to be vulnerable? I don't get to fold or break? Even if he's water repellent, water still hits. Some men grow up never learning how to express pain because culture, church, even their woman says, warm you were made to carry this. 2. She's owning her role, but not every woman does. Now that woman speaks.
Her never folding thing, that reminds me so much of the umbrella. Like, women that do hold up umbrellas would never fold the umbrella, would never put that umbrella away. Why? Because they know that umbrella is going to protect them. They're not willing to, fold it back down, dry it off, and see it in that light. They only can see it erect and protecting. And that's a lot of women, that they see their husbands and see their partners in this light that as soon as he falls from grace, the umbrella breaks, the umbrella folds. They're no longer an umbrella.
Speaking, she's rare. She's saying, if he's not doing what he was made to do, maybe I'm not holding him up right. That's accountability. That's covering your man spiritually, emotionally, and even logistically.
Damn.
But most men ain't hearing that today. They're hearing and he's not a real man, or and should be doing more. So when she flips the lens and says maybe I'm not supporting him right, a man might feel seen, maybe for the first time. Because truth is, a lot of men feel like tools being judged, not partners being supported. 3. Not every man is flashy, but he's functional. She talked about the basic umbrella, not the designer one, not the wood handle flex, just the $5 one that works.
Yes.
Men who watched that, they felt that. Because in a world that rewards flash over function, she's saying, white tat, quiet, faithful, regular man who shows up, he might not wow you, but he was...
Yes, I also saw that as like the regular man is still capable of doing the job. He's always been capable of doing the job because he's a man. He might not know himself, he might not have everything ready, but he's always been capable to do the job. Not all men can do the job, but he's capable. That's all umbrellas, right? From the cheapest $5 to the most expensive one are still capable of being an umbrella.
Made for the storm. And men don't hear that enough. Most of them aren't Marcus umbrellas. They're Kevin from accounting. They pay the bills, fix the sink, stay loyal, go to work, and tuck their kids in. And they wonder, am I enough? And she just told them, yes, you were made for this. 4. Holding up a heavy man isn't glamorous. Let's keep it real, love. Being the woman who supports a truly...
I was going to say, yeah, holding up something heavy isn't the greatest thing. So that's what I was thinking that in my head, but that's what women want, right? They want these heavy men. They want these heavy umbrellas. Most are not willing to put up with what that umbrella is entitled to.
Really weighty man, it ain't always pretty. If he's carrying vision, purpose, leadership, that man is heavy. And most people envy the umbrella, not realizing how hard it is to hold it steady. So when she said, if God gave me a man heavy as this table, that means I'm strong enough to carry him, she wasn't bragging, she was testifying. From a man's view, that hits deep. Because powerful men need powerful women. Not loud ones, not flashy ones, but anchored ones. 5. Not an...
Hold on, Miss Coffee.
No, man. Jesus, Miss Coffee. She got me.
He's carrying vision, purpose, leadership, that man...
We're calling this church brew. It's the church brew.
And is heavy. And most people envy the umbrella, not realizing how hard it is to hold it steady.
Right.
So when she said, if God gave me a man heavy as this table, that means I'm strong enough to carry him, she wasn't bragging, she was testifying. From a man's view, that hits deep. Because powerful men need powerful women. Not loud ones, not flashy ones, but anchored ones. 5. Not an excuse for laziness, but a call to partnership. Now, this part's important. A man can't hear that and think, oh cool, she's supposed to hold me up while I do nothing. Nah. The umbrella gotta open up and do what it was designed to do. Right. She said, if my man's not doing what he was made to do, I might not be supporting him. but it's still his job to be out in that rain, protecting, shielding, providing. It's mutual responsibility, not one-sided submission. And from a man's lens, it's a reminder to step up, not out of fear.
I also agreed with that, right? Because if you're not you're not erect, not protecting, it is hard for a woman to carry you.
But out of purpose.
All right. Yeah. Listen, Miss Coffee understood the assignment. She got the message across. Very interesting. I like the first part that she said about, a man realizing, coming to terms with his expectation in society. And, that's why you need healthy brotherhood around you and a fellow man who you can talk to about the challenges of life, especially as a husband, right? Especially as somebody who has a family and, you've got that weight. It doesn't mean that if you don't have a family, you don't need that too. But the more responsibility and the more people that look up to you, the more I think you need to seek that out for sure.
Agreed.
Let's read a few of these comments. Top comment here says, who is she? Bless her heart. Somebody else here added, behind every great man is a great woman. All we want is a woman to say, I am here, baby. I got you. Somebody else here says, I say this all the time. Men are so special. They are equipped to be the head, and it's marvelous in my sight. Rare and logical statement. Sorry. Her daddy was present. And a lot of great comments here. I refuse to get married until I meet a woman with this mindset. Be careful if you're a man who values marriage and, talk about those things. This woman here says, got me together. Wow. Very interesting. Very cool. I like the fact that I don't see much of the people here because, with some of these comment sections when somebody's serving some coffee,
I think it's some feminists being upset and badgering her.
Is, you get a lot of haters in some situations. Yes, this mindset needs to come back. Okay, let's see. Let me see. All right. I had an umbrella that flew backwards in the wind. I closed it, repositioned it, and opened it back, kept pushing, held it together, and it broke. So this is a great representation of relationships. Some umbrellas are not built for certain storms. Rain is fine, but the wind is something. Okay, so here we have somebody who disagrees, almost 1,000 likes on that one. And the guy responded back and says, that's why it's imperative as a woman that you choose the right umbrella. And somebody else who says, you didn't listen to the video. She said, if a husband doesn't do what he's supposed to do, it's because the wife isn't holding him up. She didn't say anything about choosing the right umbrella and so on.
I mean, it's kind of given that you should be choosing good umbrellas. You shouldn't just go randomly grab a $5 umbrella from the street. That's not what she's trying to say.
And so forth. And so, of course, you're going to get the women who were in the wrong relationships and they think to themselves, well, this doesn't apply to me, so on and so forth. I think if you can understand the nuance in situations, you can look at a situation and realize like, okay, this is what I can get from this. Right. And I think most people who looked at this situation got what they needed to get from this.
Shout out to Shushi said that analogy really hit home for me and made me rethink some things and just, the capacity of men. We have that capacity. We're not all just great umbrellas though. We have the capacity of an umbrella. Some of us are weaker umbrellas. It is what it is. That's why we have to build ourselves to be strong individuals to where any rain, any hail, any wind comes along, we can protect. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you.